A class. Is it
Yeah,
class?
yeah.
We're starting at 11 o'clock, just in case you don't know.
Ah,
Yeah, it's in half an hour. A class.
oh, half an hour from now, is it?
Half an hour from now. Yes.
We're starting at 11.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm in Australia. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
All right. See you then. Yeah. Bye.
From now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the encore to Awakening Through Life Challenges. We decided to jump on again today to explore the topic of awakening and integration. What is awakening and integration? So it'll follow the same format. Ananta will guide a dropping meditation before going into a little talk, and then we'll invite interaction if anybody would like to interact, ask questions, or explore with Ananta. So I'll pass you on. We can start.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Before we get started, can we just check that the lighting is okay and the sound of this fan behind me. Can you let me know? It's all good. The light will change as we go on, so just let me know if it's becoming too dark and you can't see me or something. Yeah. Oh, I better light the mosquito. They will be hungry for my blood. Just think you don't have to deal with all that. Yeah? Such a risk to have something like inject you and suck your blood, and they're all around, you know. You got to stay on top of it. Oh, okay. So can we make sure the phones are switched off? It's less interference in the field. Imagine having all those signals. Oh, yeah. Much appreciated. Okay, yeah, so thank you for being here right now. It brings energy to the meeting. The more show up, the more energy there is, the more speaking gets transmitted to so many different because awakening, it's so misunderstood these days, you know. There's so much confusion around what that actually means, and so many versions now, especially since the pandemic. Oops, slip of the tongue. So yeah, just to clear that up. But the first thing I want to say before we drop is that when you're on this call, you've already been called. You know, you not by the offering of this meeting, but you're already being called by something that is moving you, and you really have no choice about it, although it seems like a choice. You really have no choice because you're being called. And whatever stage or way that's happening for you can be totally different from the next one with some similarities, but you're being called. So if you're on this call, you are being called, not by this one, but by that which is deeply, deeply in the core of your being, calling you home. So, yeah. Sometimes on the path, you know, people can be like, get identified with this experience of, am I awake? Is this what it is? Am I awake now? I'm experiencing this. Does it mean I'm awake? And we're going to clear all of that up. So I just wanted to say that before we drop, that if you're on this call, you are being called. So yeah, let's close the eyes a moment and let go of absolutely everything that could be or may have been moving through your system. And just beginning to notice all that is included here. In experience. And regardless, no matter what your inner experience is or has been this morning, whether it's up or down or both, whatever it is, still allowing the system, the body-mind system, to settle. As you sink like sinking down to the bottom of the ocean. How that might feel. Regardless of how big the waves on the surface may appear to be. There is always stillness at the bottom, at the depth. Of the ocean. And even while there are sounds, there is silence. Sinking into that silence, regardless. The silence from which these words arise. And from which the song of existence begins to sing. And the very nature of this silence is to be aware. Silence and aware are two words describing the same thing, the same no thing. And this silent awareness is not disturbed by sound. This silent awareness is eternally nature, aware silence. Nothing can change that. Just as nothing can change the depth of the ocean, nothing can change the depth of your being, your very being, that is the being that is before gender. It is not male or female, it is before even the body. So even when whatever is happening in the body, it's always continuously changing in fluctuation. Your being is deeper than experience. Before experience. Experience cannot be there without, in the first place, awareness, being. And letting go deeper down through the ocean, the oceanic being, right to the core of what you can find right now to be what you are, the very, very most intimate, placeless place of you. And as you come into this depth, there is also the sense of space, more and more space opening up. The boundary of the body, mind, is not in place. Boundless, spacious, aware being. Is the very same at the core of every living being. There is no more or less. There is no higher or lower. There is nobody to claim it, become it, capture or grasp what this is. There is simply this. And letting go more and more and more and more into this. A bit like dying into this, what dying must be like, to completely let go of the world. Into endless, vast, spacious, aware. in this moment. Who are you? Now I could keep going and keep inviting you deeper and deeper, vaster and vaster, because this is endless. It is what is always, always, always at the core, changeless. Anytime you stop and let go of the world and drop, this is the undercurrent of all experience. In this moment, is there any you other than this? And I sense the intention towards a thought. And that's exactly what you would need to come up with anything separate to this. You would need a thought. To experience anything separate, you would need to start with thought. Because if you really truly look directly and intimately, without thought, without idea, if you really, really look for the edge of you, for the end of you, with no idea and no thought, where are you going to find it? There is no end to what I am and no beginning to what you are at this level. And here, whatever your experience is right now, you cannot deny that this is life, life itself. It's out of time. It's timeless, ageless. Nameless. And it is the formless aspect of you taking form. The form of these words, the form of these miraculous incarnations, bodies, the form of the story of your life, the form of this incredible capacity of what we call mind. All of these forms arise out of here. And fall away back to emptiness, to formlessness. This is where we truly meet, for there is no other. Okay, I can sense, I am aware of the yes buts, like trying to come in, the yes but, the yes but. So before we come into having the eyes open, into interaction, just take one moment to allow the felt sense throughout the body of where formlessness meets form. And then slowly, slowly, beginning to feel this body, this form, this miracle, this walking, living miracle that we can sometimes overlook the miracle of what it is just to be here walking on this earth. And slowly, gently preparing in your own way to come up into the experience of being here on a call with what appears to be many others. Yet no need to disconnect. Just as the ocean cannot cannot have waves without the depth. You, as an oceanic being, cannot appear here to open the eyes without that which comes before this life. So taking your time and coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd just like to check with you, Chris, the lighting. How is it? Would you like light above me? Above, yeah.
It seems okay. We could see what it's like with that light on.
Okay. Also, how is my volume?
It's good. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah.
Nothing like a little drop of rosemary. So welcome to this great, to this call that speaks to this great paradox. So let's start with this question then. What is awakening? There are, as I was saying right from the start, there are so many versions of what it is to be awake now. And the word is overused. And also used, many are using it as to, with this whole pandemic story, and using it in many ways, and minimizing what this actually speaks of, what it actually speaks originally. Did you know that many go through this whole lifetime without even considering the miracle of existence and the miracle of being? Did you know that actually the majority of humans go through life right to the end without even stopping to consider that. Yeah. And yet there are a good portion of beings who inherently know. There's a knowing, like for myself, right from childhood. I mean, it was pretty obvious that this can't be what's going on. This can't be what they're telling us. And, you know, I could see right through. I just didn't see any point in going to school or doing that whole thing that they were telling us, like conditioning us into, because we are all born into duality, the environment of duality. We're born into right and wrong, good and bad, higher and lower, better or worse, like and dislike, all of this that comes with duality, we're born into that. And quite soon we're conditioned into the name we're given, identifying with that name. So it's not like unusual that we become identified with that. It's part of the human journey, right? And it's confirmed everywhere by everyone that you are this person, this is your name, and your world begins to be based on the story happening in your mind that revolves around this thought of, I am this person and this is building. So every experience you have is then recorded in the memory body, and the identification with that is set in, and the overlooking, there's an overlooking of what you are without all that. So like I said, for myself, it was very, very young that I just couldn't believe that we could be like miraculously born, like billions of humans all over this planet, just to go to school, get the thing, get the qualifications, get the job, get the thing, get the house, get the family, get the thing, just to grow old and die. How can it be? You know? And it looked pretty, I think that the circumstances of my childhood really gave the conditions for me to really think like, this is so out of order, there's got to be something else, you know. So I was questioning that quite early. And for many of you, that might be the same. And for some, it, you know, it's just coming like in so many various different ways. It can be a big shock. It can be like you're living that life, and a depression comes in once you start to find out that, you know, your relationships fall apart and keeps going wrong, you know, like the promise of meeting the right one and that being the thing that makes you happy and fulfilled. And suddenly it's like you're starting to realize that, well, I don't mean that like it's 100% for everyone. Maybe you met the first one, fell in love and lived your dream. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not possible, right? But commonly, the dream is shattered, right? Which ignites a search to like look for where is it then? What's the answer? Where is it? What's, you know, where is this true happiness or fulfillment? Or it can come in so many variations. But whatever way it comes, at a certain point, you are shaken, you are pulled, you are called. And that calling might just be that you suddenly feel attracted towards reading books that start speaking about the present moment, or you get attracted to, often it's suffering, so often it's depression, so often it's something that's kind of rocked your world, but not always. It can be that you just get attracted towards, you know, I picked up a book of Krishnamurti in my teenage years. Didn't have a clue what he was talking about. But life would continue to disillusion me, you know, because we are born into the illusions of the dreams, and we get disillusioned, and that might ignite the call to ask then, where is it? What is it? Like, what's going on here? And that first calling is really the beginning. You know, it's the beginning, even though you don't have a clue. Slowly, you may start to gather information where there's like confirmations. Something rings a bell and you go, wow, I know what that's speaking about. Go there. And you start following that call. But it starts inside of you, or in a conversation that touches something inside of you. And you are called. And you go. Even if your life is still a complete shambles, whatever. But that is really the beginning. But still, you believe there is a seeker created. You are in the experience of a person who's seeking. This is one version I'm giving. It's not always, nothing is fixed ever, right? So you're in the experience of creating a seeker who's seeking something like freedom or liberation or this thing called awakening. But there's a seeker identity developed, right? Because you still believe at that stage that you are this person with this past storyline, and you are still identified fully with that. And within that story, you are now seeking freedom. Right? So this is a stage. And of course, there's nowadays so many teachings and teachers and ways that this is being spoken that the intellect picks up a new language and starts to repeat that language. And it's still within the story of me, right? So far, how many of you are relating to what I'm speaking of? Put a 1 in the chat if the chat is open to you. Yeah, so I don't want to make you all too busy looking for how to use the chat, but there are lots coming up. Yeah, so we know what we're talking about in the early stages, right? The early stages. And then at some point, something may happen in your life, and that can be a big, shocking thing, It can come in a big shocking thing that ramps up the volume, like really ramps it up, where you need to know the answers. This is becoming the most important thing. Like you must, something in your life might put you in that mode where you are more disillusioned by things, and something makes you like, nothing else matters. This is what matters. And and you start to notice that the life as you know it is starting changing. You can't relate with people in the same way. You can't relate to people who are not kind of, you lose the interest. Like in my own case, I can say I lost the interest for constant partying and hanging out with people just like for the sake of it, and lots of things started falling away, right? And this was before I ended up in jail. This was before I was already like pulled into locking myself in my room, like I just wanted to look at myself. I just wanted to know what was going on here. How to really, like, I became interested only in knowing what is true. Right? And then when that becomes like the most important thing over everything else, it kind of speeds up. And you can't stop it. It has a momentum. It's going by itself. Even if you have these habits and you have these patterns going on, and you still like to kind of numb out and do stuff to get away from the pain of life, or even if those patterns are still going on, there's something in you that won't stop on this track. And you can't do anything about it. Recognize that? So for me, at the time that I was, I got all these cold shivers going all over me because I feel your recognition. Whoa, whoa, we are not separate. When we are rested in this depth, the experience is that I am you and you are me. I know you inside of me. It is one consciousness, a universal consciousness, having individual experience. Nevertheless, when we are rested in universal consciousness, we know each other intimately as that one. So, yeah, I was at the point of saying in my own story, because my story is still here, that's the paradox. I am universal consciousness. I am you, you are me. I am in the direct experience of that, while at the same time I'm telling you my story. There is no separation in that. Right? So I'm including my story, which comes from memory and is nowhere to be found, and yet it is. It is what gives me whatever is here to be able to facilitate this right now and take you to your depth because of the story that has been lived. There is no separation in these levels. There is no separation anywhere. But you cannot get that, and you cannot understand that here. It's not possible. You can only know it in your depth. You can only know it directly and intimately in who you really truly are, deeply. So in my story, I was at a point where I still had all these patterns playing out. I still was now and again going to parties and using a little bit of MDMA or LSD or those things that were giving me experiences of glimpses of this. But I knew that I'd had enough, and I knew that I didn't want it anymore. I knew that I was done with that life. And I'd already been in meditation for a few years. I was already doing groups. I'd already surrendered my life to a spiritual path and taken the name Ananta. But I still had all these patterns, see? And somehow these patterns were still running my life, and there was a pain in that. There was a pain that I just wanted to give all of myself to this truth and just open and expand and know what it is that my master at that time was speaking of. I want to know more than anything. I want that. Yet the patterns and the behaviors were still belonging to some dysfunctional, some inherited dysfunction which carried in it self-abuse. Recognize any of that? And I didn't know how to stop it. And there was a deep calling inside of me, a screaming, almost a screaming, stop this world, I want to get off. You know, it wasn't doing it anymore for me. It wasn't doing it. The best sex, the best parties, the best life, freedom. I was traveling, it wasn't doing it. There was this scream, this deep scream. Just silence, just stop, just enough. And it wasn't very long before I was raided, and in my apartment happened to be some LSD belonging to a friend, actually. Well, there's a story behind that. But it was just there 5 days. I have no idea how they knew, but 15 guys or so came and got me and raided the place and handcuffed me and took me off the world that I knew. And long story short, I was then in solitary confinement. I was sentenced to 3.5 years. And there I was, finding myself in a cell with no one, in a prison that the rules were silence. Be careful what you ask for. Be careful how you ask for it. Yeah. So anyway, that completely broke down who I thought I was, who I identified as. And I'm not going to talk about that experience. Because you don't need that experience. You need the experience you're having. Exactly the experience you're having. So, long story short, after release, I could not find anyone in here, right? I was just only aware. Because when you don't relate for a few years, if you don't relate, if you're no longer in any role to relate to anything, then what is left? So anyway, I would say that whatever it is, awakening, that shift took place there. And when I came out, oh my God, through the doorway of relationship, triggers, all of the past unfinished business all started to return and arise. right? And I don't have a clue what to do with that. Although I woke up to what I am. I woke up, I didn't know that then, I couldn't name that then. But I was shifted. Identity as a separate self was gone. So then, all this stuff's arising. How can it be? And it's playing out and being experienced in me as if it's me, but I can see through it. I can see it's not me. I can see that's not me. And yet I'm feeling it all and I'm experiencing it all. But I can see through it and I don't believe in it. So that's the next stage. That's the next stage when you can see through it. You can see it all. You experience it all. You can see through it. And there are moments of identification with that. Moments when it really does feel like, it feels like you, and you can't anymore, like that experience of great freedom and vastness and openness, pure awareness. It's like, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Because now you're fully in this persona. For me, it was not like that, but I'm speaking like that because so many people who have sat with me, I see that's what they go through. The next stage is that there's the experience of sometimes I know who I am. Sometimes I know this pure awareness, this vast, pure, free. Hang on a minute. She's coming at me. She's coming after me. You know, I can't forget the body, can I? Not to forget the body. Don't forget the body. Whatever you do, don't forget the body. I'm just going to hold it. So yeah, then the next stage, what I see in a lot of people is this going in and going out of knowing, going in and going out of knowing. When there's a trigger, when there's a trigger to the system and the past patterns are activated, nervous system is activated, and there's an experience of identification, then there's an overlooking of what has been recognized in some moment. And there are lots and lots of illusions that need to come undone, following the recognition of who one truly is, following the direct recognition that I am this awareness that looks through every pair of eyes. I am this that is always aware, that doesn't come and go, that is changeless, that is always free. Following this recognition that I am that which looks through every pair of eyes. There are all these illusions being carried, and especially spiritual illusions, from reading all those books and from listening to lots of teachings. Those teachings could not be directly heard from the place from which they are spoken. They have been heard mainly by the mind. They've been heard by the seeker. And when the seeker interprets those teachings, the seeker gives those teachings meanings. But it was not like that. So all of that's got to come undone. It's got to be seen through. The imagination of enlightenment. What that would look like, feel like, be like what it must be like. All of that has to come undone. All of the dreams and desires will be disillusioned. And this is a process that follows the recognition of who am I. The body is carrying the whole experience, the body memory of this life. All of that is going to return into you now as pure awareness that is always free. It's all going to return to you. It's going to return to the light. It's going to come up. Got no hands left. It's going to come up into your direct experience for to be met finally. Because it wasn't met. It was tucked away. It couldn't be met. Maybe it was too much at that time, but it's going to return for the true meeting. And so in that process, the one who's having recognition and going in and out can then I can't read the chat at the moment when I'm flowing, but maybe. The one who is having recognition, all right, the flow. Just wait a moment, it's going to return. It's going to return without a thought.
Yes, we don't chat during the meeting.
Thanks, Michael. Because this what's coming through here is a transmission. It's not coming through thinking, or I have no idea. When I come here, I have no idea what is going to be spoken. No idea whatsoever. It's a transmission that is in response to what is here in the field. It's one movement. It's a conversation that's happening energetically. Yeah. So wherever that was, let's pick it up here. So when the triggers and the pain returns to be met, it's coming for liberation. It's coming for the true meeting. It's coming to be truly met. And in that true meeting, there's an entering into the body. It's no longer an understanding that's here. An intellectual understanding and knowing that is here. Because the knowing in the first beginning is here, the recognition is here, but it's not in the body. The body is still very much running on yesteryear. And it cannot do different because it hasn't been updated. It's not a failure. It hasn't been updated, right? So the identification of the seeker can imagine there's a failure. Like all this stuff comes up and it overtakes and it overwhelms and it's like, and where there's a seeker identification within that, it can be then believed in the belief that, oh, I had a moment and I lost it. And then trying to get back there away from this experience. And then at some point there's a listening to some transmission or reading a book or getting it all by yourself that That's what that teacher or that book or that thing meant when they said no identification with identification. Even though this experience is happening fully and it's tearing me apart, within this, I can see. I can see the mechanisms. I can see all how it's put together. And I can see. And if I can see, I am not that. That's not who I am. That's arising in what I am. And a meeting can happen, a true meeting where this pain can finally come home in your love. In your love, in the love that you are. In the one that you are. It can come home, it can return. Yeah. And in that way, there's no fear of experiencing the body. Even fear is to be experienced. And in that way, you enter the body, you enter the experience. Here you are, knowing yourself, even if what you're meeting completely doesn't look like it's awake or nothing like that. Here you are in there, meeting it. Yes, you're here, you're present, you're meeting it. Now the body is getting a message. The body is I'm getting all these cold shivers again. Because you're answering me, you're answering. This is recognized, seen, yes. You enter the body. And this is, what does it speak about? Embodiment. Embodiment. You begin to embody the truth that you see. You begin to walk with the truth that's coming alive in you. This is part of the process of awakening. So it starts to come in the body. And you begin to become an embodiment of what you realize. And it's not an easy process often. It's not always the case. Some people just only ever experience bliss. But it's few. Right? So I could go on and on and on with this. There comes a moment. There comes a moment where nothing, absolutely no experience can convince you of being separate from anything. No experience can, even if you don't see in the moment of experiencing re-identification, even if you don't see it, you still know the truth of what you are. Even if you're not experiencing it, because what this is a knowing, it's not an experience. And knowing is deeper than experience. So you could be experiencing whatever, but you're still knowing yourself. Nothing can take that away. You're home. You're home. But that doesn't need effort. It doesn't need effort. You just are what you are. You are recognizing life itself as what you are. Life itself. And when you recognize that, without any doubt, you recognize every living being is that. There is no separation anywhere. So it begins with you And then you begin to know every other as yourself. Even if you still have the experience of separation in an argument or some kind of patterning playing out, even if that thing happens in your experience, you still know that what is looking is seeing itself. There's nothing that can ever take that knowing. And it doesn't need effort, it's effortless being. So this is a process. And what I can say to you, right? I've been walking with this for. I got out of that jail 25 years ago, right? And this embodiment process has been happening since then. And I have to say to you that it's still the beginning. It is an endless deepening, an endless deepening. Endless deepening. How could what this whole cosmos and beyond is, and whatever brought that into existence, how could that be squeezed into a little tiny body and realize everything all at once? It's not possible, right? So it's endless revelation of what is realized. It's revelation, being revealed, being revealed, being revealed by itself to itself. And this is so beautiful, even though it can be so painful. There is no other life to live. Living awake requires so many of those old mechanisms to drop. All falls away. All of the sneakiness, any kind of sneakiness. You become an honest, true human. With yourself and with all. And so there's a lot in the unconscious that belongs to mechanisms that are born from beliefs, deeply held beliefs that this little child has taken on. Through this lie of separation, these deeply ingrained beliefs that are in the system, for example, the belief that I'm not good enough, or I don't belong, or I'm not worthy, or I can't trust the world, I can't trust anyone, or these deeply held beliefs that can be working unconsciously in these mechanisms that can be playing unconsciously into your relative world, that still have within them behaviors that are rooted in those beliefs, and it all needs to come conscious. And it's happening. The more that you are given to truth, and the more that you are willing to see what's really going on through the play of relativity, it becomes conscious, it comes conscious. And the more it comes conscious, the more and more and more all of this comes conscious, you start operating from a super consciousness instead of unconsciousness. You start operating from universal intelligence without being blocked by these mechanisms. So I feel that that's enough of that for the moment. Just take a moment to let that. So what is awakening? Awakening is, first of all, being called. Having a bell ring inside of you that leads you to more and more and more. Looking and searching and finding. And at a certain point, you do not believe your thoughts anymore. When you don't believe your thoughts, you don't believe the thoughts in your head to be the truth, the story that's playing in your mind to be the truth, you are awake. When you can't be sold on a story, you're awake. You've woken up out of the dream of separation. And that's the beginning. And all that I've been speaking to is integration. Integration is going on for the rest of the life. You have to integrate that. You know, thousands of years of conditionings inherited into the system are coming undone through you as you integrate into this world, into this body. So, clear? Is it clear? Yeah. So we'll just take a breath. Take a breath, otherwise you're going to be finished. And open for interaction.
Leanne, do you want to go?
Yes, happy to do that.
Hang on a minute, I've got to just make sure. There are a lot of consequences to a mosquito bite around here. Especially the 6 o'clock ones. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, hello. Hello.
Hi, Ananta.
Hi. Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
I'm loving this call today.
Sorry?
I'm loving this call today. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yes.
I'm loving this call today. I actually, I'm feeling tears at times because I'm just relating so well to everything that you're saying. And the question that's arising for me is, I have a lot of people around me. I have 4 children, 2 nephews who've lost their mum, who, I've got elderly parents as well. And what I'm trying to do now is find more time for me, and I'm trying to do certain rituals every day so that I get that time. But something that you said last week when you were talking about your parent being, I think it was your dad being in hospital, and you were having to speak up about injustice. And obviously in the job that I used to do, I took early retirement last year, was a head teacher. And the job that I used to do, and I've had times where, you know, I've had children in hospital, my own children or children that I've looked after, and you have to speak up, you know, you have to, and you were talking about that.
What is the question?
So the question is,
Yeah.
the awareness is there, but at times it feels like you're having, it's not still, it's not quiet, you're having to deal with life. And there's not enough time for the awareness because you're dealing with life.
Sorry, I was. I'm sorry. That was a good one. What was it? There's not enough time. There's not enough time for awareness because you got to deal with life.
Yeah.
Right. That's
And I know that's what you're trying to explain, but
no,
I'm
that's
thinking,
so beautiful.
am I meeting non-love with love? Am I, because I can...
No, Leanne. You are separating life from awareness.
Right.
To put it
That's
quite
what I thought.
simply. Right. So for you, there's life, and then there's awareness over there. You know. But I get what you mean within your experience. I do, and that is exactly what I was speaking to of this going in and out, and that has to do with you identifying the identification with the one who's doing life.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is no separation between life and all that it includes and awareness. You know, you are aware. It just start what you can do, like just so really quickly, what you can do about that is be aware in life.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying
like
to be in flow. I'm trying to be in flow.
What?
I feel like I'm not even trying to be in flow. I'm just allowing it to flow through me, and I don't think about it afterwards. I feel I'm just dealing with it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in flow.
Whatever is here in any given moment, whether it's contraction, whether it's stress, whatever it is, remain present and aware in that. Without it, you know, it can become effortless in a way that when you relate to the experience of presence, you think that you need to be you think that looks like something, but the moment that you are simply aware within dysfunction may be unfolding and you are watching the movie play. So you know how it is to watch a movie?
Yeah.
When you're watching a movie, what do you have to do? Like you just need to watch the movie. So in this moment, if you watch this movie unfolding right now, how much effort does this take?
Notice it's less effort. I'm dealing with it all. I'm doing it, but there's less effort. So I'm still
like right now, just watching the movie of being on a call, asking this question, talking with Ananta, with all of these faces, watching this movie right now. How much effort does it take?
None. That's not an effort. This isn't an effort.
Right. So keep watching the movie. Keep watching the movie and seeing what you see.
Okay.
Because what you're actually bringing is like, there's something to fix here. There's some kind of problem that we need to fix. And especially on this call is not what the space is not for that. It's not, anyway, it's not to be fixed. It's not about fixing. But anyway, in the space of this call, it's not,
I do feel I'm trying.
I can only say to you.
Sorry, you froze a bit there. I don't know if it was me or not.
Sorry,
We didn't hear the last bit, Ananta. You were frozen for a moment.
I don't know if it's my. Is it my? Oh, was it me who froze? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So, what I can say, Leanne, is join us for the 3-month journey.
Yep.
You know, because this needs time. It's not on a call like this.
No.
It needs
no.
time.
Thank you.
You know, it needs, yeah, more space.
Yep.
So, in a nutshell, watch the movie. Watch the movie, wake up in the movie.
I think it's just that I had this idea that I had to run away from it all to be sitting with, but now I realise, I'm coming to realise that life's going on, but you're still aware. You're just, it's all more effortless, and I'm noticing that in time, that I'm not so drawn in anymore, but I'm still dealing with it at the same time, but more in an embodied way, like you described. And it was really good to hear you saying that you were still going through dealing with the hospitals, with all of that, while being aware.
Look, right, 3 months ago, both my parents passed away, right? And I'm in digestion phase now, but I have been in an excruciatingly painful human process with that, being there at my mother's bedside every night, dealing with many things, layers, excruciating things, while at the same time carrying on my work, what I do. This is what I do. This is my work in the world. This is my love. This is what I'm here for. All at the same time. All at the same time. No separation in any of that. I cannot deny my humanness.
Yep.
I cannot deny the pain of the loss of, it was separately and it was at the same time. My mother and my father, I cannot deny any bit of it. I can't say, oh, I was at the hospital sitting at my mother's bedside, but I wasn't getting pulled in. I was totally feeling it, totally there for it, totally. So I can't say like, oh, I wasn't getting pulled into the story of my mother dying, because it's a reality, and it's the reality of this human life. We're not here to deny human life. We're here to live it in all levels. It's part of our journey here. All right?
Thank you. That's been.
So I'm not talking about, So that's why I say, come along the 3-month journey, because these things cannot be understood with one answer to one question. You know, and that is really why how come these offerings come about. You know, it's not just me kind of thinking up a 3-month course or whatever. It's there because it's a service to something that is in the field already as a request. It's like, it's a journey of support, especially for going through all these integrated bits, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Leanne, for coming on. I'm sure that your question relates for everybody in some way, shape or form. It shows something. May I ask, are you hearing me, or am I freezing, or?
No, we're hearing you fine.
Okay, great. It could have been that I was waving my hands around that it froze. I don't know, but thank you, Leanne. It's nice to it's lovely to meet you. Yeah, and thank you for your question. It helps me to know where people are. Yeah?
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, these offerings are happening because there is it's a call and a response, just like this meeting is a call and response. You know, I mean, the surprising thing is that there are not thousands here, because it's so many humans' story. It's so many humans' question. What is true awakening? What is integration? And this is a free offering. It's not, there's no commitment here, you know? So, yeah, I mean, there's no, it's not a one way. It's like we are in a call and response. What you're calling for is available in the field somewhere. Is there any question, or is there anybody who would like to ask anything, share anything, or confirm? I find it truly amazing that, you know, when I first started walking this way, nobody knew what I was talking about. Nobody, you know. The only people that could really understand or hear were those that were sitting around hubs, like in India. I went back to India, and I was giving these talks, satsangs, around an area where, you know, my so-called master at that time, and it was an area where people were going for that. And that was the only areas where people actually could hear what you were talking about. You know, and it's absolutely amazing that now it's coming more and more and more, wider and wider. Our humanity is in an awakening, whether people are aware of it or not, whatever stage they are at or not. Even if it's people realizing that the governments are not telling the truth and they can't be relied on and the world is falling apart, even if it's people realizing that people are starting to go, oh, you know, life is not what I thought it was. You know, so there's a great awakening happening in our time, in our humanity, and it's the only thing that works. Otherwise, you need to stay numbing out. But yeah, no one said it will be always comfortable. Is that Carrie?
Yeah. Hi, Ananta. Hiya.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Carrie.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I don't know how to formulate it.
Hello.
Yeah. So with my mum with the dementia, with all of that being in Wales with her, it just brought up all my family was very, 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 very toxic, narcissistic, sister, mother, a lot of abuse and trauma. And my pattern was I'm the sort of dispensable one that goes in. I'm the one that helps my mom, has, you know, always been there. And anyway, it has absolutely knocked me right back into, you know, highly traumatized. And yeah, so I'm thinking.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a question. So if it's knocked you back into being traumatized and all of that, my question is, are you there because it's a movement of your heart, or are you there because of conditioning? Because that's that's the mechanism of how you play out the pattern.
I've removed myself again, but it's
Response of the heart.
both. It's both. It was
Yeah.
but it isn't. It's the trauma bond. You know, I have this overwhelming, my mum mustn't suffer. And I completely discounted myself. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I was just focused on her every day at the home, and it was just going horribly wrong. And usually I don't have contact with my sister because she's so abusive, but I did for my mum's sake. And so she was ploughing into me, and the care home were ploughing into me and telling me I was making it all worse.
Do you have a question?
Well, the question is...
Do you have a question in this?
That's what I was... so I've taken myself away, and partly I was thinking to come out to Thailand. But I don't feel up to it at the moment, and I just want to put myself somewhere safe, and where I live here isn't safe. So I want to go into this work, but I want to put myself somewhere
I'm getting
safe.
ready to leave Thailand.
Yes, I know. So I'm thinking, because I heard it was Spain or Portugal. So that would be easier for me, and just being aware of the mosquitoes there and this whole, and I'm like, I couldn't cope because I'm not able to look after myself. So, you know, it's just.
Is there a question? Is there a question?
Is there a question?
I have to narrow it down because we, you know, it's a call that is.
Okay, one question then would be, because I would like to work with you. So I'm thinking, you know, where will you be? Obviously, I will be independent and all of that, but I want to go somewhere. So if I could sort of put myself...
I see myself in Portugal and Spain in May and June.
Right. I mean, that would be perfect
I have to be in England, July and August, but I don't know if anything will be happening. I have to clear out where I'm going to live after that. Sorry, now would be perfect for you.
Well, no, May and June would be absolutely perfect. What I'm thinking, to get myself on an even keel till May, June. But I want to plan. Right. I want to sort of book somewhere and.
Well, you can, but I'm also going to say to you, why not join the 3-month journey?
I've gone into financial fear. Yeah.
Whatever, you know, whatever. I can't deal with your financial fear. I mean, the reality is, you have funds, right? So it's not that's not it. It's not about having it or not having it. You have it. So yeah, I can only say to you, like, whatever you do is gonna lead you into your fears, because as long as you're trying to avoid your fears, whether it's financial, it's making sure you've got a safe place, you got life does not care about keeping you safe from your fears. Life cares about giving you everything in support of what you're calling, you know. So it's you call, and life will support you in that. So if you give your energy to the fear of your, you're going to get more of that. You know, it's life doesn't care about keeping you safe from. So it's a matter of seeing that and making a very clear movement from your deepest calling. Clarify your deepest calling and respond to that. Either any way, which way you move, you will have to face fear.
Will you be doing satsangs where you are? Where you're in Spain and Portugal?
I have a retreat already posted in Spain, and there's possibly something happening in Portugal. It would be great to get you in the room again.
I know.
But yeah, I'm saying to you, join the course, because even in this course of that program, the retreat will happen. You know, the program will still be running while that retreat happens. The dates of that retreat are June 7 to 11. So the 3-month program will still be going on. So it will be priming you up towards the retreat and giving you aftercare. Yeah.
And I would like to sort of book myself somewhere for a period of time so that I can settle.
Okay, but I can't sort this out for you right now. I can't. I know. Look, imagine. I don't know how many people are on the call, but what if I was to try to work with each one of them sorting out their life?
Yeah.
What do you think? Would be a tool?
No.
I've got to go to Malaysia and get a visa stamp.
Yeah. No. I didn't mean that.
No, I know. But Carrie, I would also like that. I would like a home. This one is homeless now. You understand? This is for a month, this place. Okay? So I understand what you would like.
No, I meant to be near where you're going to be to come to satsang. That's what I mean.
Okay, so you can come to Portugal or Spain. But on this call, I need to stick with what the call is about.
Yes.
Right? Right. Right?
Yeah.
Send me an email or something.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But on this call, I need to stick with what it's about. And it's for everybody to really clarify this question. You know, our humanity is in a great awakening. No matter what stage anybody is at, if they're on this call, they are being called. And it's... Thank you. He, she agrees. It's a major evolutionary shift of our universal consciousness taking place. And no matter what a person's life is, their life is being changed. Even if they're not waking up to realize who they truly are as universal intelligence awareness, even if it's a person who lives a life, who believes they are separate, still their life is being shaken up, and it will be turned upside down as the systems continue to fall apart. Right? And those people will have only the choice to continue numbing out or go for the truth. And it is not comfortable, and it doesn't leave out fear. It is inclusive of all of that must come undone for us to move into a whole new level of who we are here to embody, and how this whole planet is evolving. We're here to move into a whole new level of ourselves. It's huge. There's no stopping it. So your problem of having to find a place is that's not going to be the end of it. It's on and on and on and on. You'll have to keep on dying to what is not true and waking up to what you are. And I look forward to journeying with you, some of you, whoever's destined to come along with in this energy field. Welcome. Yeah. So thank you, Carrie. You got me to speak this bit. And yeah, send me an email or something. Yeah.
Thank you.
But and I say again, join the course, because I know, you know, I'm not good at writing modules and telling it's going to be this and it's going to be that, because I don't have a fucking clue. Okay. What I know is that this transmission is dealing with whatever's in the field in the moment, and that just keeps on expanding, evolving, everything. It's the hardest thing for me to write down, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. I don't have a clue. When I come to this meeting, I don't have a clue what's going to come out of here. And whoever is joined in this 3-month journey, they will be what determines what comes out of here and where it goes. And that committed field allows for a great deepening, because it's a commitment that comes from within. This call there's no commitment. It's just to show up, and I may never ever see you again. It's more, you know, but this 3-month journey is a committed field that takes it to a whole different energy. So on the end of that, I do want to say that if there are some of you who genuinely, and I mean genuinely, like the financial thing stops you, and I really mean genuinely, because, you know, I put my hands up and I tell you that I don't have an income. I don't have a home. I don't have, you know, I'm not trying to get your money or something like that. I'm just doing what I have to do in this lifetime, right? And if it's financial, if that's the thing that really, there is a possibility for a few scholarships, and you can contact, okay? And apart from that, I gotta go pack my bags. I gotta leave tomorrow on boats and things to go and get a stamp in my visa. And I tell you, I do not want to go. It's such a hassle, but it's the rules of this world, you know. I'm gonna invite you all to share a moment of silence with me. Thank you, Carrie. Let's close the eyes a moment. Allowing all these words to fall back. To where they came from. Sinking into the silence that is not the absence of sound. But is the silence of your own being. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let there be peace. In all beings. Thank you for your presence. And I look forward to starting with some of you on the 2nd.
Thank you so much.
Oh. Love you. Bye.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining us for these 4 weeks, which it ended up being. I'm going to drop the link in the chat to the course. And if any of you did feel you wanted to apply for the scholarship, partial scholarship, then you can find it on the frequently asked questions and you fill in an application form, or just email us directly by replying to one of the emails we've sent you. So I'll pop this in the chat now. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. It's been so nice meeting with you all, and looking forward to carrying on, seeing which group forms for next week. So yeah, thank you.